Breaking tonight, with less than 48 hours until the polls open, the FBI again makes big news in the 2016 race for the White House. And the question now, what will it mean on Tuesday? Welcome to the Kelly File, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly on a live special Sunday night broadcast here in our brand new studio as we stand on the doorstep of Election Day. Now, usually at this point in the election, all the Oppo research is out, all the bombs have been dropped. But this is 2016, and a shocker broke just about 6 hours ago. FBI Director James Comey announcing this afternoon that the Bureau is done. They're done reviewing that massive trove of new Clinton emails, and they have found nothing, he says, that would change the July decision not to prosecute the former Secretary of State. The news came as a shock because when the director wrote Congress roughly 10 days ago, the news was that the Bureau had discovered some 650,000 emails that could have an impact on the investigation. And FBI sources said there was no way they could get through that many documents before the election. In two big Kelly File exclusives tonight, we will speak with Congressman Trey Gowdy. He investigated Mrs. Clinton as the House Oversight Chair, as well as Republican National Committee Chairman Reince Priebus. Former DNC spokesman Mo Alithi is here as well. But first, we go to Trace Gallagher live in New York with more on Jim Comey's announcement today. By the way, Trey Gowdy, head of the Benghazi Commission, not oversight. That was Jason Chaffetz. Go ahead.
And Megyn, it appears for the FBI this really was an all-hands-on-deck investigation that was finished at breakneck speed. Director Comey says working around the clock helped, but the main reason it went so quickly is because most of the emails were duplicates the FBI had seen before. Comey was very careful in the way he worded his letter to Congress, which reads in part, quote, "We reviewed all the communications that were to or from Hillary Clinton while she was Secretary of State. Based on our review, we have not changed our conclusions that we expressed in July with respect to Secretary Clinton." Our Justice Department producer says a senior law enforcement source tells him the matter is essentially closed. Attorney General Loretta Lynch was told ahead of time about the letter and supported Comey's decision. And just a short time ago, Donald Trump spoke for the first time about the big news. Watch.
You can't review 650,000 new emails in 8 days. You can't do it, folks. Hillary Clinton is guilty. She knows it. The FBI knows it. The people know it. And now it's up to the American people to deliver justice at the ballot box on November 8th.
Remember, for Donald Trump, James Comey was the villain, then the hero. Now he's back to villain, and this will certainly play into his campaign's message that the system is rigged. Hillary Clinton has not said anything about the news, but her campaign is certainly weighing in. Spokesperson Brian Fallon tweeting, quote, "We were always confident nothing would cause the July decision to be revisited. Now Director Comey has confirmed it." And while Camp Clinton is relieved it's over, they also say it's impossible to undo the damage. Internal Clinton polls reportedly show that she lost independents and GOP women who she was hoping would extend her lead. Here's VP nominee Tim Kaine.
Not surprised. I mean, I really felt like the original conclusion was so unequivocal after such a long investigation that when the surprise of the letter 2 Fridays ago happened, I still felt like that would be the conclusion that they would reach.
But through all of this, Megyn, it does not appear to get Huma Abedin off the hook.
Well, nor Anthony Weiner, who remains in legal limbo. Great to see you here in New York. Joining me now in a Kelly File exclusive, Congressman Trey Gowdy, who investigated Mrs. Clinton as the chairman of the House Benghazi Committee. Great to see you, Congressman. So your reaction to Director Comey's announcement today?
Well, I have kind of focused on the seminal word in his letter, which is the word conclusions, plural, not singular, plural. He had a lot of conclusions in July, including that she was extremely careless in the way she handled classified information. She didn't turn over all of her work email, and she both sent and received information, including that which was marked classified. So there were myriad conclusions he reached in July, and I think his use of the word conclusions today, plural, was important.
To say we have not changed our conclusions since July. And yet, clearly this closes the book on the question of criminality insofar as the feds are concerned and her email. Does it not?
I don't think so, Megyn. I think it closes the book based on what they know now. But, 10 days ago, we didn't know that Huma Abedin had failed to turn over all of her devices. Investigations are never over. unless a statute of limitations has expired or unless jeopardy has attached. So this investigation is over based on what they know, but they don't know what they don't know. And Megyn, my other point is, I mean, can you imagine a closing argument of having to spend the day before a general election saying the FBI was not able to prove beyond a reasonable doubt every element of a criminal offense?
Yeah.
If that is the closing argument for a presidential candidate, they got other problems.
Well, in the end, she chose not to mention it. And I think for the very reason you just suggested, her team understands that's not exactly how they want to reinforce their message in these next couple of days. Do you think this had, because they're saying, look, this had a real effect. And you heard Trace's report about how she thinks it hurt her with independents and Republican women who were reluctant to support Donald Trump. Do you think that the Comey decision 9-10 days ago actually might affect, if, perhaps the presidential race, and if not that, some of the Senate races that we're watching that have been pretty tight?
No, ma'am. I think her decisions have impacted female voters and independent voters. I think it's just a reminder that most of what she has said on the email issue has been demonstrably false. That is not Jim Comey's fault. I'm not upset with Jim Comey for sending the letter today. I thought he had to, just like he had to 8 or 9 days ago. She is the reason that we are discussing this hours before a general election, not Jim Comey.
Mm-hmm. That's important to note because Comey's had a lot of attackers out there, but you defend him. You think his decision in July was sound, as was this one. Before I let you go, you too are facing a re-election on Tuesday, and it's, your favorite to win. We'll put it that way. And yet that hasn't stopped you from releasing ads like this one, which I think our viewers will enjoy. Watch.
That Trey Gowdy really goes after him, doesn't he?
I'm telling you, the man's fearless.
He's fighting Obamacare, Hillary, wasteful spending.
Know what I like most? Gowdy's consistent. Conservative. Yep.
Steady.
Got a good head on his shoulders.
Don't know about that hair, though.
You do remember I'm still sitting here.
Just saying.
Trey Gowdy, consistent conservative, inconsistent haircuts.
This is Trey Gowdy, and for some reason, I approve this message.
It's true. I like that you recognize that about yourself. And, the facial hair is also slightly inconsistent. If you know about it, why don't you do something there?
I have had a lot of help in recognizing that weakness over the last 6 years. I can tell you this. I am the only politician in America dumb enough to run a negative attack ad on himself, but I thought people needed to laugh in the last couple of days before an election, and I'd rather them laugh at me than me poke fun of somebody else.
Amen. We did need a laugh, and just for the record, I can relate on the inconsistent hair. It's great to see you. All the best.
Yes, ma'am. You too. Thank you.
So what does this mean for the election on Tuesday, this Comey news? Joining me now in a Kelly File exclusive, Reince Priebus, chairman of the Republican National Committee. Great to see you, Mr. Chairman. So,
thank you.
What did you make of the FBI today? Look, I know you liked what they did 9 days ago. Do you like what they did today just as much?
I kind of, number one, I wouldn't want to step on the eloquent words of Congressman Gowdy. I mean, he said it best. I think any time the Clinton campaign's talking about whether or not she gave away state secrets in a sloppy mess is probably a good day for us, but it's a bad day for our country. And I also agree, even before Trey laid it out so nicely, but there's nothing that says this thing is over. And in fact, there's going to be more emails. I mean, it's over in regard to this new trove of emails, but there will be more. And so the point is, can she be trusted? And the answer is no. She can't be trusted when she was given one of the most precious jobs in America.
So you think
and that's
that
why
there's
she
a chance
can't
the
get over the
FBI
hump.
might reopen an investigation again if they get more evidence on her email?
Well, yeah, I think Congressman Gowdy laid it out. I mean, it's the truth. If they find another, I don't know how many BlackBerries she had. If they find another BlackBerry, if they find another computer,
okay.
if they have other documents, they're going to review them, and there'll be another letter back to this committee from Comey saying, guess what? We found this.
Let's shift gears now.
We're going to restart.
Because now we're a day and a half out from the voting starting. I mean, the day of voting starting. And I want to get a feel for where you think the Trump campaign is in the presidential contest. Because the latest national polls that have come out show Hillary Clinton has rebounded and regained her national lead. One poll has her at 4 points up. One NBC Wall Street Journal poll has her at 5 points up.
Well, I mean, there's other polls that show Trump up, but here's where I think we're at. If
Just
you look
one,
at the evidence,
just the LA Times poll, which has consistently showed him up.
And I think the IBD
cycle.
poll too, and I think the IBD poll came out as well and had Trump up by 2 points. But put that aside for a second.
She's up one in that one, Mr. Chairman.
You got to look at where the early vote is in Florida. We're up about 100,000 votes from where we were 4 years ago. In North Carolina, we're up about 120,000 votes from where we were 4 years ago. We won North Carolina. We're up in a big way in Ohio. And we're up, as compared to 2012, in a big way in Iowa. We are tied in Michigan, if not slightly ahead or slightly behind, but clearly both our data and the Clinton data in Michigan is saying the same thing, that it's very, very close. The same is true in Pennsylvania, and the same is true in New Hampshire and the 2nd Congressional District of Maine. Mm-hmm. You go out to Colorado, Megyn, and ballots that have already been counted show, as to Republican-Democrat registration, that we have an 1,800 vote lead in Colorado, which is a shocker to a lot of people.
What about Nevada?
Go ahead.
Because John Ralston out there, a well-known guy who tracks the polls and watches the electorate there, he came out and said Trump is finished in Nevada. He's dead in the early vote, and the Hispanic turnout has been historic.
Yeah, well, we love John, but he says the same thing every 2 years about Republicans in Nevada. I do like John, but it's something that we hear all the time. Look, it's going to come down to the ground game and Trump's closing argument on Tuesday. One thing people need to understand, and it's just the truth, we've gotten a lot better at early vote this year as compared to 4 years ago, and we did better 2 years ago than we ever had. But Republicans tend to vote on Election Day. Mm-hmm. Republicans tend not to like early voting and absentee ballot voting. So we have lagged over the years in this area. We've complained a lot about it, but we didn't get good at it. And now, as of late, we've gotten a lot better.
Okay, last question.
The data score shows us much better.
Last question, because I got to go. Your prediction on Electoral College final.
I think Trump's going to be over 270. I don't know if Pennsylvania's going to fall or Michigan's going to fall, but I predict that one of those big blue states is going to go to Donald Trump. We've never seen anything like it. 25,000 people today in both Minnesota and Michigan.
How about the Senate?
It is something that no matter what you think, I think we're going to be at least at 52 in the Senate. We'll hold the majority.
Oh, well, you heard it here. Mr. Chairman, great to see you. Thanks for being with us.
You bet.
Also here tonight, Mo Alithi. He served as traveling press secretary on Hillary Clinton's 2008 campaign. Mo, good to see you. So let's just pick up with that point that the two Republicans who were just on made, which is any day she's talking about, I'm not facing criminal charges for jeopardizing national security. And as it came out today, letting her maid print out classified documents on her apartment and walk them over to her is a bad day for Hillary Clinton. What say you?
Yeah, look, I don't think there's any question that what Comey did 2 Fridays ago really kind of threw a wrinkle into everything. And, it couldn't have been a worse time, right? I mean, for 10 days, this specter of, are they reopening the investigation was hanging out there, allowing the Trump campaign to promise that, there's got to be something big there. And all this conversation was happening as early voting was going on, only to find out today that there wasn't anything big there, that there wasn't anything new there that would change the July finding. So I think the Comey decision 2 Fridays ago was a problem for primarily the FBI, but I don't think it was great for the Clinton campaign. Having said that, she's still leading. And as you just pointed out, she's rebounding in the national polls. She's taking a pretty good lead in a couple of the key battleground states. And we're seeing the early vote among the African-American community and the Hispanic community really exploding over the past 3 or 4 days.
Where? Because the early reports were that the African-American turnout had been disappointing thus far, whereas the Hispanic vote had been good for her.
You're right. That was the early report, right? But what we've seen, take a look at South Florida, Broward County, where we've seen turnout primarily in the African-American and Latino communities beginning to outpace what we saw at the same period in 2012.
Why is she so concerned about Michigan from the appearance of it?
It looks like it's tightening up, right? But at the same time...
But put that in perspective for the viewers. How big a loss would that be for Hillary Clinton if Trump turned Michigan?
we'll see how it turns out. I think the people on the ground in Michigan and the Clinton campaign feel like they've got to do some late work here, but that they'll be able to hold on to it. Having said that, it could flip. It could go red this time, which is why they're fighting so hard for it at the end. But even if she does lose Michigan,